lot of people don't pay attention to, and newer players, I don't know how many newer players there are, but I'm just going to go over this because I feel like it helped me a tremendous amount when someone told me it, so I'm going to kind of share it with you guys. For upshots, some people, I wouldn't say, I can't speak for everyone, but my problem I knew when I was first starting, and even sometimes I have brain farts and still do it. But what happens for me is like I said, the angle. Upshots are all about angles. If you're throwing all different angles and you're really good at throwing Anheuser straight shots, you'll be good at upshot. And so, that being said, like I showed you guys with all the arm angle and all the movements, you always, the timing is all the same as for upshot. And like I showed you guys, the slow to fast run up for drive, the same goes for an upshot. You're going to want to, like I said, plant yourself before your shot all in the same direction. Except instead of running up slow to fast, you're putting your weight back to forward fast, because that's what you want to do to get your momentum and power going forward. You're not just going to stand here and go like this. I know it's a short shot, but you still need your arms just guiding your disc. Your lower body's supplying the power, just like a drive. Except you're going back. That's why you see a lot of players go back like this before they throw, because that way all they have to do is go back and then push their weight forward when their arm's coming through. And that's the best way to practice, is just sit here and just kind of go like this. And of course, your timing might go forward too early, and you'll be able to tell. If it goes forward too early, you're probably just throw it in the ground because your arm's going forward. And same goes if you just stand here and go like this, your arm's probably gonna go too high. If you're bent down like this and your weight's back, your shoulders are naturally gonna go high. And same thing goes for a drive too. I forgot to talk about that, but people that take really slow run-ups, it causes your shoulders to go high. But same for a really wide stepped run-up. You throw like it goes high, and then the low steps makes you go low. So a lot of people that take really small steps in the run up for a drive, and it will go low, and the really big steps will open up your shoulders and make you go high. The same goes for upshots. And the best way to determine how if you're throwing a shot, Anheuser especially, it doesn't apply much to a straight shot, but how to determine how far you want to go Heiser or Anheuser, it's just basically how far you're aiming. So if I'm aiming at that fire hydrant and it's this wide, say it's this wide, 10 feet to the right of the basket, I'm going to want to aim 10 feet high, so it gives it the 10-foot amount of drift to the left towards the basket. If I go like this, I'll show you an example of what I'm talking about. So I'm aiming at that fire hydrant, and it's going to be 10 feet to the right of the basket. I'm going to throw it about 10 feet right, or 10 feet high, I should say. Because then it gives it that much time. That one wasn't very good. But it gives it that much time to drift. If you're going same shot, throwing it that high, it's gonna have way more drift to it. See what I'm saying? I'll drift it that far to the left. The same goes to the, you might play it. But that's a lot of people don't, newer players, they're like, why is my disc hydering so much or turning so much? That's just because you're giving it that much more time to be able to do that. But if you just throw it straight, if I throw it straight, I'm just gonna throw it not that high, just kind of throw it hard like that. But and some people don't understand why, but it's really, like I said, it helped me. I used to do the same thing. Stand here and just be like, not be able to throw it. But it really, once you think about it and you say, all right, I'm going that far to the right, I need to throw it that high to be able to make it turn that far. You don't want to throw it high or low. You can really see it. Now, obviously, if I'm throwing this way, I'm going to need to throw it higher to be able to achieve that much more turn. See what I'm saying? So I'll show you what I'm talking about. So that time, see how much more turn I had to take, so I turned it a little more. And that way I'm able to get that more amount of turn. See that? And so that's for a backhand. And similar thing, same thing for a sidearm. Except for sidearms, for me, I like I was telling you with the backhand, same thing. You can achieve all the different angles with your arm instead of moving your wrist, I should say. Sorry. Instead of moving your wrist or arm, you move your wrist. You basically just go like this. You achieve all the different angles. Same thing for a sidearm. Just move your body in that direction, whichever way you want to throw. And a lot of people, for sidearms, not just upshots, but drives as well, what I like to tell people is a lot of people's arms are too tight. They're trying to muscle the disc, and it's really, and then, it doesn't allow their wrist to be able to snap. If your arm and your wrists are really tight, you're just throwing with your arm and just kind of falling out like that. See how I just kind of move my arm? That's all that happens. But if your arm's a little bit looser and your wrist is a little looser, it's able to act like a whip and kind of just snap through forward. So you saw that first one, it just kind of fell out of my hand. I didn't really use my wrist or arm to go forward. And the same thing applies to a sidearm. I'm going to always go back like this and snap forward. All the different angles. And that's the problem with a lot of people is they don't they just don't get that feeling. And I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. I'll kind of come around because sometimes, you know, you really have to really feel what I'm talking about. If you guys want to get out a disc, and I don't know if you guys want to, I'll show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. But what I'm talking about is loosening up your wrist, having a tight grip still, and that way you're able to really snap the disc on that angle. If you can get that, you know, it's all about, you know, getting that. If you're not used to throwing sidearm, it's all about getting that first snap and really feeling how it feels to really get that snapping motion. And that way, once you do that, then you can work on all the different angles. Well, thanks, man. Okay, yeah, I'll get this second. I just want to try to show them what I'm talking about.
Really?
That way you can like just go like this. You sit there, work on this angle, you know, the flat angle. But once you get the straight wrist snap and pop, then you can work on all the different angles. But I'm just kind of showing, come around and show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. Did you feel that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just gonna come around and show you guys what I'm talking about. Loosen up the wrist a little bit. Loosen up the side a little bit. There you go. Tight grip. Always tight grip. Just loosen this. And that way you can kind of feel that.
You want to
See
keep
that?
it
Feel
more
that?
into the
Yep. Yeah. That's a good question. A lot of people are asking if you would keep it in kind of in this webbing of your hand. I do like to put it in there just for stability wise. You know, you don't want any resistance. That way, if you're throwing this, it'll come out a little wobbly. But if it's back here firm, there's, you know, you've got a lot of control on it. And so I'll kind of try and come down to as many people as I can. And then I'll kind of take questions and we'll go into sidearm or go into putting. So yeah, this one's, there you go, just like that. Loosen up the arm a little bit, and that way you're able to feel this motion. That's the follow through with the sidearm. Is this? Loosen up a little bit. You always keep it in a tight grip. Just loosen up your wrist a little bit so that way you're able to accomplish that pop. Feel that? Loosen up the wrist. Your wrist is too tight. See, now notice the difference between when I first came up here and it was really tight. Now loosen this muscle. The grip is still tight, but then just loosen. Now I want to be able to go like this. When I first came up, I couldn't really move your wrist, but now it's better. Feel that? And that way you're able to achieve this follow through pop, like I was just telling him.
Those two loose fingers,
Yep.
does it matter what
Bend your wrist back.
What do you do with your two loose fingers?
Feel it follow through like that. I was throwing your wrist, but that's basically what's happening. It's going like that.
So you said you do anchor it in here,
Yep.
you do tuck it in there tight.
Yep, exactly. Loosen up your arms a little bit tight. Grip never changes. The only thing that changes, your arm is loosened up a little bit for like an act like a whip. Feel that? Coming through and following through like that. Feel that snap? I'm gonna snap for you. But when you're throwing, that's where you're feeling. That snap. See what I'm saying? I'm not gonna be able to reach all you guys, but I'm just kind of just going to a few so that way you can kind of see what I'm talking about. I'll go to a few over here.
Where's
so
your
you can,
thumb in relation to your other finger?
thumb is always on the top of the disc and the rim kind of meet, and that's right where I like to. You can kind of feel it. Most discs you can feel it, not all, but there's like a little part between the top of the disc and the rim.
Where's
right
in
where I
relation
just put
to this finger?
It depends. Like, so if it's an upshot, I like to put it between my fingers, so that way I just kind of feel like I have more control. So
Okay.
it's between that, and for a drive, it's basically, I wouldn't say, I'm not spread out. My fingers on the bottom aren't spread out. So it's like I said, it's right between the top of the disc and the rim.